Want to know two things that absolutely terrify me and why I think that is, and it might apply to you too. Let's check it out. Hello, welcome back, glad to see you. And I want to talk today about two things that kind of terrify me, sort of scare me, but I think I know why. And it's weird because I've had this sort of, actually they're not phobias at all, they're just weird, terrifying things which you're gonna really laugh at when you hear them. Probably for years I've had these. It actually makes no sense at all that I have these, but I think there's a kind of a bigger reason, bigger sort of rationale behind them. The first one is umbrellas. Umbrellas terrify me. Now that sounds proper mental, and possibly knowing me, I don't know what it is. There's just this mental thing about umbrellas. Now let me give you a bit of context, let me explain why umbrellas terrify me. The idea that you're sort of walking in the rain, now in theory, I love the concept of an umbrella, makes all sense. You carry it, you don't get wet, all Gucci. However, generally when it's raining, it's often a bit windy, and it's not the fact that I think I'm gonna fly off, because that would probably be quite cool, but I think it's just maybe the fear or the idea of the umbrella kind of just being taken away, kind of, and me losing the umbrella. I don't know, it's strange, but I tend to
grip the umbrella, often with two hands.
Ridiculous, I know, absolutely ridiculous. But if you ever see me with an umbrella, I'm really gripping, unless there's zero wind. If there's zero wind, happily, quite normal. But if there's any element of wind, I'm gripping. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't like using umbrellas. I'd rather use a hat, not really have hair to get messed up or anything like that. But obviously if you've got clothes, you don't want them to get wet. If it's sort of summer rain like it has done today and last couple of days, then it's a kind of weird one because it's too warm to put a coat on, but you don't want to get wet. So umbrella's really the obvious choice. But if there's any amount of wind, it seems to be like terrifying, and I will grip so my like knuckles are white holding onto this umbrella, like way more than I need to. So that's the first one, which is pretty ridiculous. The second one is walking a dog. Now I've personally never had a dog, so it's not been a big issue. I love dogs, I've got no problem with the actual dog bit, but it's the walking of the dog on the lead I have the problem with. And again, I hold like this death grip on the lead for fear of, I guess, letting go and it running off. I'm not necessarily two hands, but I'll wrap the lead around my hand so there's no chance I could let go of this lead. When I've looked at both a bit more objectively, I can see a similarity between the two, and ultimately I think the reason is it's losing control. Just notice, completely irrelevant to anything, how green, sort of less green, it's almost exactly down the middle of the screen. How bizarre. It's very, very odd. Should have maybe made more of that. Didn't. Losing control. Now I suppose in reality I am a bit of a control freak to a degree, and so I do like to kind of be in control of things, but more recent times, over the last few months, I'm realising and understanding and becoming comfortable with not being in control. Because you can't control everything. It's absolutely impossible to control everything. Whereas before I'd be like, really sort of almost not freak out, to be fair, but just be very, very uncomfortable if I'm not in control of a situation. And that situation could be anything, not just like the umbrella or the dog walking, but even like the start of a relationship where you sort of want things to go a certain way, and I'd really almost try to control it, and not in a bad controlling way, but almost try to make sure the outcome was what I wanted, as opposed to just letting things go their natural way. And often it would screw things up. It's nice to not have the control, or reality not want the control, or better put, comfortable with not having or wanting the control. And it's nice, and it feels much more relaxed and just a nice way to be. That said, I went out the umbrella the other day. It was another terrifying experience with the umbrella. I think the story from this is that so often you want control over a situation. Maybe you've always had control in a particular situation or type of scenario, and that may or may not have worked out well, but not having to have control of a situation because you've always been used to is actually okay. And that's something I've now learned, that you don't have to have that tight grip, literally in my case with the dog lead and the umbrella, but on a situation, whether it's within a relationship or maybe a job project or something, just having that tight grip because you think, well, if I don't, everything's going to go wrong. Well, it may go wrong or it may go right, but having that tight grip on it is not actually necessarily going to make things better, and if anything, it's going to make things worse and make things almost fail because you're so tight on it. But it's the idea is not have such a tight control over everything, or not feel you have to have such a tight control on everything. Just sort of ease off and step back. And so the last few months I've learned, and I've kind of certainly got better at just not having to have that grip on things. And initially it's quite a scary idea because you don't know, it's like
anything can happen.
But in many ways that's good, because things should naturally roll out how they will naturally roll out. If you try to force a situation or orchestrate a situation into a particular direction or result, it may not work out well. I've seen from past experiences of how I've often sort of done that, but now I'm much more, it is what it is. And that's not being very kind of like a doormat or anything like that, but often, you know, you try to control something, it's actually going to do more harm than good. Whereas if you just carry on being your normal self and just let things go, and again, it's not having disinterest, it's not completely disengaging from the situation, but not having that tight, or wanting to have that tight grip on the outcome and controlling the outcome of a situation, or wanting it to be how you think it ought to be, is so much more relaxing, less stressful, and just makes life so easy. Literally in the last 2 months, 1 month even, I feel so much sort of happier and just freer. Some of it, you know, as I said, it's to do with the huge thing about, you know, being yourself and no just rubbish, but also just not having this tight grip on everything and just being the normal person that I am and the normal person that you are, and just kind of go with it. And it might sound a bit kind of Dad's hands obviously, but it might sound a little bit floofy up there and just kind of going, you know, like all very unicorns and rainbows, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with having a happy, relaxed, fun life? Nothing. Don't feel you ought to control everything. And it's easier said than done, I know, but it's just small steps. Just gradually, just sort of let things, and often, as I'm seeing now, it doesn't actually immediately go to, weirdly, it almost goes better because it's just chill the fuck out. So I hope you got some value from this and got some enjoyment, because it's a weird story, I know, starting with umbrellas and walking a dog, but it highlights that tight grip is not just a metaphor. I was literally, and do, but I just need to relax a bit. I'd certainly recommend it to you. Just look at situations where you perhaps would have normally really tried to control or orchestrate a situation, and just relax, and you'll find life is amazing. So if you did get some value and you did like it, hit that like button so it's nice and not green or less green, and subscribe if you haven't. 198 at the moment, it's so close, but really appreciating everyone who's subscribed and continues to support the channel. It does mean a lot to me. For now, I'll say bye-bye, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. Remember, live your best life and profit from that passion. See you next time. Bye-bye.